Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Weiss, and I'm the Recruiting and Retention Battalion Commander. I'm here today with Colonel Renee Dorvall, who is the Brigade Commander for the 1889th Regional Support Group out of Butte. I'm super excited to have Colonel Dorvall with us here today. I can't think of a better person to be here to help us announce that we will be opening combat arms positions in Montana to females. It's a big day for the Montana Army National Guard. So thank you for being here, ma'am.
Thank you for the invite.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with Colonel Dorvall. Ma'am, can you give us some background information about women in combat arms?
Yes, absolutely. So it has been limited. We have not, as females, been able to serve in combat arms positions, and that's across the nation in the Army. However, in 2017, that was opened up, and we have currently made all the requirements here in Montana to be able to open up our positions to combat arms as well. So we're excited for this adventure to begin.
Thank you. What does it mean for women now having the opportunity to serve in combat armed roles?
You know, I think it's about choice. We all have a desire for something in our lives, and if that is to serve, previously they weren't able to even be considered for combat arms positions, and now they can. So I think that's what's most important, is that it allows people more opportunities if they want to serve their country.
Okay. When you enlisted into the Montana Army National Guard, how were women received in the military, and how does that compare to what you see today?
You know, I really don't see it much as a difference. I have had a very blessed career. I joined in 1987, and I'm still serving today. So what I can tell you is in 1993, I went through the Montana Army National Guard State Officer Candidate School Program, and currently there's 5 of us remaining that graduated with that class. We have 3 males and 2 females. So just, you know, with that small sample of a pool, it just shows you the opportunities are there for us. 2 of us have currently achieved to the rank of colonel, and 3 lieutenant colonel. So again, I'm proud to be a part of that group.
How do you see this impacting the Montana Army National Guard?
I see this as a significant positive event. The reason for that, currently the 163rd Combined Arms Battalion has 491 combat arms positions that previously have not even been open to females. So that in itself is really a great opportunity for people to serve how they want to serve. That's 22% of our brigade strength, and 18% of our state strength is now open to both male and female.
That's awesome. In January of 2017, the Secretary of Defense announced that he would be opening all combat arms positions to females. And so it's taking Montana a little bit of time to transition to that. Can you talk about that a little bit, why we're transitioning now?
Yes, absolutely. So obviously we had to wait for the guidance to come down, and what was that going to look like and how would we implement it? So once we received that, we had requirements that we had to meet. We had to have officer leadership assigned to the units, and then we had to have a female NCO as well assigned to that unit. In 2018, we had our first female infantry officer complete training. And then last year, we had our first armor officer complete basic officer leader course. So we met the leader requirements. After that, we then have training that the entire unit has to go through. And now we've achieved that. We had to submit a request back to National Guard Bureau for approval. And so now those positions are open.
Yep. I like this next question. It's probably my favorite one because I know that this is something near and dear to you. But your dad served and retired after 38 years of service to the Montana Army National Guard. So I'm curious, with his service, how did he feel about you serving in the military?
Okay, so he was apprehensive, to be quite honest with you. I was a college student at the time, trying to figure out how am I going to pay for college. And additionally, I had to sign for a loan, and I was like, holy smokes. Also, always had a sense of service, whether it was volunteering for a local community group or whatnot. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out. And so I, contacted a recruiter. I got in, and my dad was like, holy smokes, Renee. I still, to this day, I can even tell you where we were sitting in the living room the night before I left for basic training. And my dad was like, Renee, super proud of you. I know you're going to do well. but you know, it's my job to protect you. And you're going halfway across or all the way across the United States to go to basic training. So never even really been on a large plane before. So he was beyond proud, but again, he was apprehensive. You know, my little girl's going across and going to basic training. She's going to get yelled and screamed at, and you know, have to, you know, learn how to shoot a military weapon, etc. And so, just a protective stance, but beyond proud of my career. And we're both actually happy that we were able to spend part of that in Montana Army National Guard together.
Did he have any advice for you when you left?
You know, he did. Interestingly, he said, Renee, they're going to get in your face and they're going to yell and they're going to scream at you because they have to break you down to build you back up, to be a leader in this organization. He goes, just remember this, they can do that, but they can't touch you. So when I would sit there and they'd be in my face about something and I'd probably have to do some push-ups or whatnot, at the end of the day, I knew that I was still in an organization that wasn't going to harm me.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
What do you think he would say if he could see you today and how far you've come in your career in the Montana Army National Guard?
You know, so first of all, I'd get a big hug. That was always our greeting whenever I saw my dad or on the phone. He was always just very proud of the career that I was able to have in the Montana Army National Guard. And it's because of their upbringing. My folks did a great job of raising us kids and really just supporting us in our decisions throughout. We lost my dad last year, so he wasn't there when I pinned on, or full board colonel, but I know he was looking down and shining upon and had a big part of my career.
What type of person do you see as being the right fit for a combat arms position?
You know what? Bottom line is anyone with a desire. You know, in the Montana Army National Guard, we have 88 positions, or 88 different military occupational specialties. So I think regardless of what that MOS is if they pick something with really their desire to serve their country. Is it as a tanker? Is it as an infantryman? Is it as a heavy equipment operator or a medic? And so that number one thing has to be the desire to serve in whatever military occupational specialty they elect. The next thing is, maybe more so than in other military occupational specialties, is that they're physically fit. The physical demands to be in either, or in combat arms is significant. So they truly need to, if they're currently not in shape, they need to get there. Because that will be a big tax on them when they ship off to basic training.
So that brings up a good point, the physical part of it. Can you talk a little bit about the physical requirements, and is it different or the same for males versus females in the combat arms positions?
It's the same right now. I can tell you though, with the Army Combat Fitness Test, there will be some different requirements because that will be based on MOS. But even then it's MOS, it's not gender. Male and female are the same on those requirements.
Here's another one that's probably near and dear to you. As a mom, how would you feel about your children serving in the military?
Okay, so I actually have 2 adult children. And my goal in life was for them to be value added to society and to give back to their communities and nation. I have never pressured them to join the service. I just want them to be happy in what they choose and elect to do. If they were to say, hey, I want to raise my hand and serve my country, I would be their biggest cheerleader and provide them all the advice I possibly could.
So what do you see as some of the benefits for young men and women who may be considering enlisting into the Montana Army National Guard?
All right, so the benefits and the opportunities are really endless, and it's what every person makes of their career in some cases, right? So we have armories and units spread across the entire state of Montana. Which in our large geographic state, I think that's important. Additionally, in most of the large college towns, we do have units. So if they're considering going to school and serving their country, there's a lot of opportunities for that as well. Some of the benefits to the individual is their student loan repayment program. There's the college tuition waiver. There's bonuses for enlistment and re-enlistment down the road, and training opportunities. I mean, this career, if you would have told, Private Long back in the day, that she would still be serving after 28 years of service. I would say you're crazy. And so anyway, there's just a lot of opportunities to grow. Leadership training they're going to get to, military occupational specialty training they're going to get to go to, a sense of teamwork, a sense of family. The list really just does go on and on.
So I've heard you talk about leadership a lot in the past, especially when you're talking to high school students. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the military does a absolutely amazing job in training our leaders. I think with any career that someone elects to participate in, leadership is important. And so what the military does is you're going to be in charge of things right at the very beginning, right at the initial training that you have. You're going to be in charge of maybe a program, a project, a small team, all the way up, to company, battalion, brigade, state. There's always opportunities for leadership. But the good thing about the military, we actually train you in how to be a good leader. We invest in you. And so I cannot tell you how many training opportunities and leadership training opportunities I've been able to be a part of. Some of it's commercial, but most of it is military-specific training. And that is something that, I call it a return on investment, right? So when soldiers raise their right hand and want to serve and defend their nation, we in turn owe them the training. They're going to get that. And it will be progressive throughout their career and always builds on each other. So again, the leadership training you get, I would say, is unmatched.
What inspired you to take on leadership positions that most people would see as extremely difficult or challenging?
There's not one single thing. In fact, when I went to officer candidate school, never in a million years did I envision myself sitting where I'm at today. And so I call it the 5-year plan. And I did a 5-year plan most of my career. Is where do I want to get in the next 5 years? Where do I want to get in the next 5 years after that? And it was talking to my mentors, as well as subordinates and senior leaders in the organization, and just making sure, what is it that I needed to do to improve? We all have blind spots. What is it that I needed to work on? What training did I need to go? And what positions did I need to hold? And then I developed that next 5-year plan. And I did that every year I looked at it. And again, it just kind of was my roadmap. And there's some things I'm doing today that I never thought I would do. But this organization has given me opportunities to grow, and I'm beyond thankful for that.
As a commander, what is the most important thing that you could pass down to your subordinates or to your soldiers?
You know what? I think it's time and investment in them. Again, I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, but people raise their right hand to support and defend their state and nation. And we owe them a lot for that. So what do I want them to get out of that? I want them to have a sense of family. I want them to feel they're getting the training they need, that they have the equipment they need. And then I call it the obligation wellness plan, right? So if there's a student loan repayment program, if there's a bonus they are due, if there's training they need to get, we owe that to them. If they're doing their part and they've raised their right hand, we in turn need to do our part.
Okay. So Colonel Dorvall, thank you so much for being here with us today. You've been a great supporter of recruiting and us in the Recruiting and Retention Command. I know that you always take every opportunity to talk about service to the great state of Montana and to our nation. So thank you again. As I said to start with, this is the best person we could have chose to kick off this 3-part series. Colonel Dorvall has been a mentor to many in the Montana Army National Guard. Thank you all for joining us today. If you liked what you heard today and you would like more information, please go to our website at www.montanaguard.net. You can find all sorts of answers to questions there, and you can also find contact information for a recruiter in your area. I encourage you to join us next week. We will be talking to Lieutenant Shack, who's the first armor officer in the state of Montana. So it's going to be a great second part of our 3-part series. So please join us next week, same time, same place. Thank you.